Hi, today I will teach you how to draw 100 cool and beautiful doodles even if you don't know how to draw. I have done a thorough preparation for this video and even tested the doodles that I created in my own journal, and they look great and complement the content, so I'm really excited about that. I also tested a bunch of different doodles and chose only the best and most interesting ones. Everything for you, my friends. From the materials, you can use a pencil and an eraser if it will be easier for you to start drawing. The most important material though is a Pikmin liner. It's best to take 4mm thick ones, since the line turned out to be just the perfect thickness. And I use Staedtler liners. We will mainly draw using simple lines and shapes, and before drawing you can warm up your hand and draw a couple of lines somewhere in the corner of the paper. In addition, you can also take a black gel pen to diversify the line, but it's not necessary. Now let's start from the simplest doodles and move on to my most favorite and correspondingly complex doodles. I hope you like them. Let's get started. Here we go, our first doodle. Draw 3 triangles and connect them with lines. Those will be stems. And we already have our first doodle. Isn't that great? For the next doodle, draw a line and then oval and connect a couple of diagonal lines to the first line. Draw a circle. Now fill in circle line with lots of small curves and add a few triangles, and the last step is to draw a circle in the center and you can fill it in. Now the next one is really simple. You just need to draw as many as you want, ovals or circles, and then just connect them with lines. For the next one, draw a longer line and fill it in with very long and thin curves. For the next one, draw a line and add a little circle or oval on the end, and draw a few diagonal lines in shape of Christmas tree, and at the end of each line add another circle. The next one is really simple. Just draw 2 wavy lines and connect them at the end, and draw another line in the middle. It will be a stem of the sleeve. Really simple but cute. Now let's draw more leaves. Draw a line, and at the end of this line draw a drop shape. That will be our first leaf. Then to add other leaves, make a little gap and draw them diagonally to your first line. And that's already a full twig. And you can shade these leaves with just adding a few diagonal lines only on the half of the leaf. Next one is really simple as well. Just draw 3 circles in a diagonal shape, and each circle you need to fill in with spirals. And to finish it up, you just can connect them, and here we go, another variation of flower. For the next one, just draw a line and very long drop shapes. For the next one, let's just draw a leaf. It's similar to the one we drew before, but this one is just more simple. And you can add more diagonal lines so it'll look more filled in. For the next one, you need to draw half of the circle and fill it in with the curvy line. And that's so simple. Just add a few leaves and a stem. And here we go. You can decorate the flower, for example, with the half of the circle in the center, like I did. Or you can just leave it as this. For the next one, draw a big drop shape, and I would advise you to draw a symmetrical shape so it would look more interesting, and add long curves in the center. I really like this design. It's really simple but beautiful. Next flower is a variation of an oval and line once again, but this time let's add leaves, but leaves will be just a half of the circle or oval, and you can decorate this flower as you want once again. In the similar technique, now let's draw a leaf, but just fill it in with the diagonal lines in the center. Next one is really cute. Draw a line using lots of hearts, and you can make them as big as you want and it will look very cute. Here you can see I used bigger and smaller hearts and we got a little different result. Next one is quite simple as well. Draw some drop shapes or oval, doesn't really matter, in a diagonal shape. It's fine if it's not diagonal because leaves are not perfect, right? So it's fine if it's not perfect, and just connect them with lines. It's a really simple and beautiful doodle. For the next one, let's draw a branch. We'll need a long line and just fill it in with random shapes of leaves. Or you can draw hearts if you want to. And to decorate it, just put a few dots here and there and it's really cute. Now let's make a flower. You'll need to draw a small oval and it'll be our center and connect very long curved shapes. It's just a simple flower but nonetheless cute. Let's add a stem and a few leaves. Okay, for the next one, draw a half of the oval and fill it in with the zigzaggy line. And just draw a few leaves at the bottom and a stem. Now let's make another branch. For this one, you'll need to draw just upside down hearts and connect them with lines, and that's it. You can color these hearts and you'll get a little different effect, but really simple. Now let's draw a branch with berries, and I like to put dots so they make a diagonal shape, and then connect all the dots to the center line. And if you want, you can add a few more berries to fill in the gaps. Now let's draw a bigger branch with just a bunch of drop shapes, and yeah, as per usual, just connect them all with one line in the center. But these leaves, let's make a little more interesting. I like to color just half of the leaf and to make a really interesting effect. For the next one, draw a line and build an oval at the end, and draw a few more ovals connected to the line, but leave a bigger gap between them, because now you'll need just to draw a zigzaggy line around these ovals and leave just a little gap between oval and the line itself. This one is really simple as well, but looks interesting and complicated, but it's not. For the next one, just draw curves in a cross shape and trace them around with a line. It's so simple, but yet another option, why not? Now let's draw a flower using just ovals or circles. It doesn't really matter, you can draw whatever shape you want. But the most interesting part is to fill in these flowers with different dots and ovals. Maybe draw another circle or put more dots. I don't know, be creative. It's an interesting shape to experiment with. For the next one, just connect a bunch of different lines in the center and that's it. A perfect flower. Add a stem and a few leaves and you're done. Next one will be a little different. Draw a curved line and then draw another curve in the middle and add ovals at the end of each line. For the next one, draw a drop and then make a line, and in the center just draw a half of the circle once again. And to make this flower more interesting, draw a curved line around the drop shape, and you can put a dot in the center of this drop. Next one is a cross shape made of ovals once again. You can paint center of this cross and add smaller ovals in the gaps. Now let's draw roses. We'll need to draw smaller spirals and add 3 curves or arches around them and just connect them with the lines, stems, and add more diagonal lines to make leaves. Really cute, really simple. Once again. For the next one, draw a dot and a curved line around this dot, but this time make this line a bit more thicker and add an oval in the center and maybe some leaves around the curved line. For the next one, draw the same flower, but this time add lines in the middle of curves connected to the oval shape. And to make it more interesting, let's add a few more dots or ovals in the gaps between these curves. It's just a different variation of the similar flower, but it looks completely different. Let's draw another oval. And oops, a happy accident. We did not connected this oval the way it's supposed it to be, but it's fine, so let's continue to just add more curves around this oval. As you can see, even with the different accidents and mistakes, you can make them into something beautiful, like this flower. And you cannot even notice that there was a mistake right now, right? For the next one, draw a line and make a lot of spikes and just make them smaller at the ends and bigger in the middle. This time, draw the same spikes but connect them in the one center. For the next one, draw a more wavier line and draw filled in ovals. It's really simple. Let's draw another oval, and you can see I made another happy accident, so we'll use this as additional decoration for this flower. Draw another filled in oval in the center and draw a line, of course, for the stem. And to fix this mistake, let's just draw a few curved lines or diagonal lines. As you can see, the mistake is gone. Really simple. The next one is actually my favorite. I always draw these leaves in the corners of my notebooks. Those are just a bunch of drop shapes, and I make these lines very thick. But to make these leaves more interesting, I add another filled in leaf in the center, but I make sure that there is a little gap. These leaves look amazing, and they really help me to get rid of anxiety if I talk on the phone or something. For the next one, draw a circle. Let's make a flower out of the sun. Draw another oval in the center, a few leaves and stem. That's it. This time, let's make a flower out of the heart. Draw a heart and a few antennas between these curves and add a little drop shape in the middle, and of course a stem and leaves. Next will be another oval and draw a line in the center, draw a stem, but let's make interesting leaves. Next leaf will be really simple. Just draw a wavy line and draw spiky lines around it, connected at the end, of course. Next one is not my favorite, but it's an option. Just make lots of triangles and antennas and you'll make a flower. This time let's draw a drop shape and do more drop shape and connect them with the center line, of course. This one is one of my favorites. Again, you can draw this in a smaller size and it'll look really cute. Now let's draw a line and add 3 different sized hearts at the center of this line. But let's make a leaf and just trace them around with another line, leaving a gap between them. Next one is clover. Make a line, draw ovals in a triangle, and draw another triangles around each oval. Next one is really cool, simple and addicting to draw. These are flowers made out of loopy line. Just create 5 loops and connect them all and maybe decorate these loops with dots. And I cannot start drawing these flowers. Next one will be more experimental. Just draw a wavy line and add, I don't know, zigzaggy, wavy, curly line, whatever line you want around it, so it will make an interesting leaf. As for the next one, just draw 3 small drops connected to the center line, and this one as a leaf will draw a spiral. Let's draw more simple flowers. Add a line, then just paint, fill in ovals, and then just add a few leaves. That's it. not all doodles need to be difficult, right? For the next one, draw a line and oval at the end, and then just draw more diagonal lines, leaving a little gap, and add ellipses to the end of each line. And to make it more interesting, let's add a line in each ellipse. And don't forget to draw leaves as well, very important. Next flower is one of my favorites. It's just 5 exaggerated rhombus connected at the center. It looks really cool, but it's so simple, and it doesn't need to look perfect. Next one is another variation of flower. Just draw a center dot and draw triangles connected to the center, but this time, instead of straight line, draw triangles using zigzaggy line. Draw another line and a few leaves, and you can decorate these flowers with just more lines in the center. Let's draw another simple flower. Just draw 3 clouds and connect them with stems. For another variation of branch, just draw a bunch of spiky hearts and draw as much hearts as you want. The next one will be just a spiral with a bunch of smaller spirals on top of it. And you can color these smaller spirals in the center if you want. Now let's draw spruce branches, why not? Just draw lines and fill it in with the diagonal smaller lines. This one's really satisfying to draw though, especially if the line is curved. For the next flower, just draw another circle or oval and draw a star around it, making a little gap between the oval and the star. And you can decorate this flower however you want. This time let's draw another star-shaped flower. But this time, as you can see, if you connect the center circle with the star, it looks completely different to the previous flower. And for the decoration, I decided to add a few more drops at the ends of the star shape. And of course, don't forget the stem and leaves. For the next flower, draw 2 curves and just fill these curves with more curves connected to the center. As you can see, I drew a bunch of variation of this flower because it really depends on the way you draw curls and how you connect them and how you decorate this flower. So the flowers look completely different, but made in a similar technique. Next one is another star-shaped flower connected to the center circle, but this time let's add more petals to it. Just draw triangles in the gaps of the star. To decorate it, let's just color in these triangles, but leaving a little gap between lines. Next one is really simple. Just draw a circle or oval and fill the ellipse line with lots of small curves, and you can decorate it with the dot line in the center. Next flower is the variation of the previous flower, but this time let's experiment with the shape of the ellipse. Instead of adding something in the center, let's draw a bigger curves around the smaller ones. Now let's draw a tulip using curly line, and let's just decorate it in an interesting way. I'm a bit tired of drawing big flowers, so let's draw a bunch of little and cute small flowers. As you can see, you can draw flowers in a star shape or filled in curvy line and let's draw a bunch of leaves here and there, fill in the gaps. Let's draw another star with filled in center, or a flower without a center. And there is a bunch of different options how I can draw these small flowers using the techniques that I showed you before. Now let's get back to the bigger doodles. Now let's draw another heart-shaped leaves, but this time just leave a bigger gap for the stem, just not color it in, and connect them all with the line in the center. For another branch, draw a spiraled line and it will be a stem, so draw 2 more spiky lines around it, and you can color it in. It looks more interesting this way. Now let's draw another leaves, but this time arrow shaped. Why not? And to fill them in, just draw more diagonal lines connected to the center line. That's it, so simple. For the next branch, draw a few spiraled lines, and on top of them just draw a bunch of triangles. Let's make another tulip. This one a bit smaller and more simpler, but let's add leaves using loopy line. For another leaf, just draw a wavy line and draw a bunch of built-in curves. Let's draw another variation of leaf. Just draw a silhouette of the leaf. Instead of drawing the stem, just imagine where the stem would go and fill in the gaps with the liner. Here's another variation of this leaf. Now let's draw more leaves in shapes of spiky hearts. So now I will show you my favorite doodles. For the next doodle, draw ovals in a triangle shape. But now let's draw a zigzaggy line around them and fill this gap with the liner. It looks really interesting, doesn't it? For the next flower, you'll need to draw a bean-shaped center, and you'll need to fill the center with the curves of different sizes and shapes, and draw these curves as in the center and in the outer line of this bean. For the next flower, draw this interesting shape, add a circle in the center, and a few antennas, my favorite ones, right? And a stem, don't forget the stem, and leaves, of course. This time I drew leaves with this loopy line as well. For the next leaf, let's draw a line, a heart at the end of this line, and fill it in with a bunch of curves or hearts. Next, draw a bigger leaf and draw a spiky leaf in the center, and make the outer edge of the flower spiky as well. For the next flower, draw a bunch of circles that cross over exactly in the middle. This one is really easy to mess up. Add more leaves and yeah, another flower. Next one is a variation of the spiky rhombus flower that we drew before. Next one is really simple flower, but if the flower is simple, let's make interesting leaves. Next, draw a dot for the center, and around it you need to draw exactly 3 hearts. It's already a really cute flower, to be honest, but let's decorate with more petals in different shapes, in triangle shapes or smaller ovals. As you can see, you can create almost a similar shape by using just triangles, but I like the heart-shaped flower more. For the next one, just draw a bunch of different sized leaves, and that's it. Let's draw next flower using a bunch of spiky triangles. Draw a line connecting the middle of these petals with the oval in the center, and draw a stem and leaves. Next one will be another tulip. Draw half of the circle and draw another tulip in the center, just leaving a little gap. As for the flowers, draw half of the circles, and you can decorate it by coloring it in, why not? These flowers are really cute. Just draw 5 really small hearts with a dot in the center and connect them with stems. It's cool when stems are not straight, but when they're making another interesting shape. Let's make another flowery drawing heart, but this time more complicated. And the best way to decorate it is by drawing lots of spirals. Spirals in the center or spirals as the leaves. Next flower you can draw by using brackets and just decorate it in an interesting way. For example, making strokes. And here you can see another variation of this flower. For the next one, draw a circle with another circle in the center and draw a star as we drew it previously. Draw colored triangles in the center, and the most interesting part, just draw bigger hearts around these triangles. And to decorate this flower, you can draw spirals and put dots here and there. For the next flower, draw an oval and a bunch of smaller hearts around it, and you can fill them in with liner. For the next flower, draw a bigger circle and inside it a smaller circle, and then you can fill in another circle inside of the circle. Just a bunch of circles, and draw a bunch of curves along the edge. To decorate it, draw a bunch of spikes in the gaps of these curves, and don't forget about the stem and leaves, of course. Next one is just 3 tulips connected to the center line with 2 leaves, really simple. And let's draw more variations of these flowers. This one is similar to the tulip flower, but with curves and half of the circle in the center. For the next flower, draw a small tulip, but it's not that. Draw these spiky triangles, making a shape of the flower around it. So the last but not least is my favorite flower, to be honest. So let me show it a few more times so you can clearly understand it, how to draw it. You need to draw a dot in the center and draw 3 bean shapes around it. And now you'll need to just fill in the gaps with more triangle shapes until you want to finish this flower. You can make them as big as you want. Flower is similar to the previous one, but instead of bean shapes, we'll start drawing small, I don't know, like arch shapes or half of the circle shapes in the center, and just leave bigger gaps as we go around the center. And with this technique, you can draw bigger or smaller flowers. And that's it, my friends. Here we go, all of the doodles. And here we go, we did a great job and filled out the full sketchbook page. Hopefully you liked my doodles. And do you want me to continue a series of such videos with other doodles? I would be very happy to find even more doodles for you. In the meantime, be sure to watch this video how to fill a sketchbook with beautiful drawings inspired by nature. I'm sure it will be useful for you as well. So that's it, my friends. Have a nice day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!